Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy. Welcome to a new way. He has put you on a new journey. Hold close to him and follow what he says. Sent the final prophet Muhammad to mankind a mercy.
My name is Sally, better known as Pius. I can help with surahs so I can recite.
My name is Suhaila, memorizing surahs, reading the Quran, and practicing the Sunnah.
My name is Mommy, better known as Umi. Islamic education is key to the family. We tune in every day to learn something new, and Sunnahfollowers is helping us, and it could help you too. Tune in every day for new programming. Stay tuned.
And much more.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet, my Lord. Get wet, get wet, my Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet. Get ready for our conversation, deep and in depth. Obligations are serious and need to be met. So I prepare so I won't forget. Go ahead and make a good intention. Yeah, yeah. You can wrap up some good deeds. Yeah, make a donation to the side and go from left to make it right. Just remember and don't lose sight. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal.
Hey, I got a couple questions for y'all. The first one, who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but if you're one of those people that have been trying to get information and you come across this, or even this, all right, take a listen.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sister Layla Nashiba, the Managing Director and founder of Sunnahfollowers Online Islamic University. As you know, we have classes every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we cover everything from Aqidah, which is your belief system, to Seerah, which are the stories of the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the story of the companions. Please join us every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are broadcasting and streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, DLive, Trovo, and Twitch. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulallah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Sunnahfollowers class program, and this is it happens every Sunday at this time. What we will do is we're studying from the book entitled Dunya, and this is a book written by one of my students, Brother Abdullah Kurt. And for those of you who have not yet purchased this book, please go to Amazon and get a copy of this book. It's only $13. And today what we're going to do is talk about a big problem that many of our Muslim kids are facing here in America, and that is holidays. holidays, and it's the season here in America for all of these holidays. You know, this is a country that celebrates holidays all the time. We have Arbor Day, we have Chipmunk Day, Groundhog Day. Then you got Valentine's Day, you got Christmas coming up, Thanksgiving coming up. In fact, that's the next holiday, Halloween. So a lot of our Muslim kids, you know, come to us with questions about celebrating holidays. You know, why is it that as Muslims we can't participate? We're not supposed to. We're not supposed to. I repeat, we're not supposed to participate in any of these non-Muslim holidays. So that puts a lot of the parents in a predicament. A lot of the parents don't know how to explain to their children why we don't participate. And as a result, a lot of the parents allow their children to participate in these holiday celebrations, where we're going to speak about that today. If the parents understood the dangers of allowing the children to take part in that, they wouldn't do such a thing. And if the children truly if the children's parents would cultivate the fitra within the child wouldn't even ask, because children before the age of puberty, remember, the children they recognize the truth. The fitra is there. The fitra is lit. The fitra recognizes the truth and submits to it. Children can handle the word no better than adults can, believe it or not. And that's what we're going to speak about today. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And again, for those of you who have not yet purchased the book, this is the book Dunya. And by the way, this is not a children's book. It's not written for children. You know, this is an adult book, but it just shows how even the children can understand the simplicity of Islam. You know, this is an adult book, but if the kids can understand what's going on here, then I'm sure it shouldn't be a problem for you adults. So this is the book Dunya. You can get it from Amazon. It's written by Brother Daryl Abdullah Kirk. That's his picture, and that's his name there, Daryl Abdullah Kirk. He's the author of the book, and that's how the book looks. You guys see it? Yes, that's the color of it. That's the book itself. Amazon. It's only $13. And so today we're going to speak about celebrating holidays. And it's a good thing that this was the next chapter of the book, because Halloween is in a couple of weeks. And in fact, it's in a week. And a lot of the kids here are going to be asking, can they participate? And a lot of you parents are going to sit there and tell them yes, when in reality, the answer should be no. And we're going to talk about why it's no. First of all, as Muslims, obedience in our self-discipline comes in the form of staying away from certain celebrations too. Remember, Allah created the earth and told us Muslims we can live anywhere on this earth as long as we are able to practice our religion openly. Well, living in a country like America, or living in a place like United Kingdom or in Europe, you know, the non-Muslims have many different holidays. We don't have to take part in them, and we shouldn't take part of them, because we have a responsibility to uphold the teachings of the Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have to understand as Muslims that every action that we take in our life has consequences. The choices that we make in our life will come with consequences. If the choices, decisions, and actions we take are good, then Allah will reward us. But if they're bad, Allah will send his punishment. And I want the children to understand this. This is why a lot of kids say, why is it that we have so many tornadoes and hurricanes? And why is the war going on? Why are people dying in war? That's a punishment. It comes from Allah. It's Allah's way of telling us that we need to wake up, that there's something that we're not doing. Those are calamities that Allah sends as a reminder to us that we're supposed to be living our lives with Him first and foremost on our mind, and obedience to Him first and foremost. So you're living in a society like America, okay, a non-Muslim society. That's okay. You can live in a non-Muslim society, but we have to know how to practice what we talked about before, which is known as el-bara, which is distancing. We have to know how to distance ourselves from whatever in society contradicts our Islamic morals, what contradicts our Islamic values, what contradicts our Islamic identity. And that's the job of the parents. We parents, you have to reinforce what our morals are as Muslims and what our identity as Muslims are to your children. So we don't take part in Halloween that's getting ready to happen in next week. We don't take part in birthday celebrations. We don't take part in Christmas, New Year's Day, the 4th of July, or any of that, because it's not part of us. And also, I want you guys to understand, whenever we celebrate something, celebrating a holiday, this is an action of worship. And remember, we talked about how all acts of worship are supposed to be only to Allah. We spoke about in another class how what differentiates us as Muslims from non-Muslims is even when we celebrate, our celebrations entail remembering Allah. When we celebrate the day of the Eid, what do? We begin it with prayer. We pray to Allah. We thank Allah for His blessings. The non-Muslims don't do that in their holidays. Their holidays do not entail worshiping Allah. So celebrating non-Muslim holidays, number one, they don't entail remembering Allah. So that's why we don't take part in them. And also, remember, it's not done for the sake of Allah either. Their Halloween has nothing to do with Allah. Christmas, nothing to do with Allah. Valentine's Day, nothing to do with Allah. The 4th of July, nothing to do with Allah. But yet and still, the non-Muslims celebrate it as an act of worship. I want you guys to remember, Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation, the meaning, whoever sets up partners in worship with Him, then Allah will forbid paradise for you, and the hellfire will be your home. Let's look at birthdays. If I celebrate a birthday, am I remembering Allah? Am I praising Allah with that? No. Celebrating a birthday means I'm celebrating you, or I'm celebrating myself. Look at Halloween. Is this a holiday to celebrate Allah? No. In fact, Halloween is the opposite. It's a holiday to celebrate demons and jinns and shaitan. We don't worship shaitan. Look at Christmas. This is a holiday celebrating Jesus. Jesus was a prophet of Allah. We don't worship Him. The same with some of these Muslims who want to make a holiday called Maulid, where they're celebrating the Prophet Muhammad's birthday. We don't worship the Prophet Muhammad. We don't celebrate him. The only one we celebrate is Allah. As Allah says, whoever sets up partners in worship with Him will never be allowed to enter paradise. And also, when you participate in these non-Muslim celebrations, not only are you worshiping or celebrating something or someone other than Allah, which is shirt, but you're also imitating them in their practices. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever imitates a people is one of them. Let's take birthdays, for example. In Islam, remember, everything we do is guided by the Quran and the teachings of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But look at what birthdays entail. Islam tells us that we're not supposed to put any human being on a level higher than what he is. Allah tells us in the Quran that we all were created from dirt. There's nothing to worship about a human being. We come from dirt. So on a birthday, you're celebrating this person because this person was born. That person is deserving of cake. Because this is the day you were born, you're deserving of presents. That's worship. Did you make yourself? Did you create yourself? Did you have anything to do with the day you were born? No, Allah created you. Allah chose for you to come into this world on the day that you did. So what is there to celebrate about yourself? Y'all see that? This violates Tawheed al-Rububiyah. This violates the lordship of Allah that we've been speaking about in our 6 o'clock class. And also the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he never celebrated anybody's birthdays, not his own, not anybody else's, or any of that. And remember, we're supposed to follow his example. The companions never celebrated birthdays. So again, this is why we don't participate in non-Muslim holidays. Their reasoning contradicts La ilaha illallah. Does everybody understand that? And also look at the sources. You don't have to. We know it's haram, but even if we look at the sources of where these birthdays and Halloween and stuff come from, the sources of where they come from, contradict our Muslim identity. Blowing out candles. This is what the pagans used to do. The pagans that worship the stones, they worship idols. They felt that if they made a wish and blew out candles, the spirits of the dead will protect them. The spirits of the dead will hear them. And when we already know as Muslims, the dead can't hear, the dead can't help us, the dead can't do anything for us. They're no longer even a part of this world. So when we're celebrating these non-Muslim holidays, we're also engaging in their rituals that contradict Islam. And remember, we talked about any rituals or any behaviors that contradict Islam, we distance ourselves from it. We do el-bara. We distance ourselves from anything that contradicts our morality, our value, and all of that. So, Halloween, it's coming up in a week. You're going to see a lot of children dressing up like witches and ghosts and jinn. They're going to go knocking on people's door, begging for food. What does Allah say about begging? As Muslims, we don't go around begging for anything. Begging is haram in Islam unless you have no choice. Your mom has food at home. Your mom, if you wanted candy, your mom, your abu could go to the store and buy it for you. So why do you need to go around knocking on people's door, begging for candy? This contradicts our Islamic morals. Dressing up like a jinn. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be the opposite of the jinn. We're not supposed to imitate the jinn. So why would you want to dress up like one? Witches, they will be the fuel of the hellfire. Why would you want to imitate something that's going to be the fuel of the hellfire? So we don't participate in Halloween, and you should feel good about it. If the other kids ask you, are you going trick or treat? You say no, because I don't believe in that. I'm a Muslim. Trick or treating contradicts my Islamic identity. You know, no, I'm not participating in that. And you shouldn't feel bad about it. You should be able to stand there and proudly say, I am a Muslim. There's no need for me to imitate you on your silly holidays. Because guess what? As a Muslim, I have my own holidays. I have the Eid al-Fitr and I have the Eid al-Adha. And my holidays are different than yours because my two holidays are spent remembering Allah, thanking Allah. Whereas your holidays are just dress up and fun and games and imitating the denizens of the hellfire. So as Muslims, you shouldn't feel bad that you're not participating in this garbage. In fact, you should feel good. And so let's see how well you guys understood what we spoke about today. Let's look at this first question here. Who can tell me why is it important to avoid celebrations that involve worshiping something other than Allah or imitating the practices of non-Muslims? Who can answer that? Go ahead, Corday. Let's hear from Corday first.
If you celebrate like Christmas or Halloween, like what some of the people could do black magic on you.
That's a good point. Since their holidays involve worshiping the devil and the jinn and imitating them, why would you want to participate? Because the jinn are evil. The jinn were commanded to stay away from us. But when the jinn see you imitate them, you're going to attract them. And they may try to do things to you, to hurt you. Good job, Corday. That was an excellent answer. Brother Shuaib, let's hear your answer. Why is it important to avoid celebrations that involve worshiping something other than Allah or imitating the non-believers? Go ahead, Shuaib.
It's important to avoid other holidays because if you celebrate other holidays, you're worshiping, you're doing a made up holiday, not a holiday that Allah made her.
Okay, so you're worshiping something other than Allah. Exactly. We don't pray to nothing but Allah. We don't worship anyone but Allah. We're not worshiping witches and Jesus Christ superstar, Valentine's Cupid. We don't worship these things. Good job. Brother Diarmani, what's another reason as to why it's important to avoid celebrations that entail worshiping something other than Allah or imitating people other than Muslims? Go ahead, Diarmani.
Well, the bad celebrations that can send you to the hellfire forever, and Allah does not like people who celebrate non-celebration, because if you're a Christian, then you're just celebrating non-celebrations, and Allah might give you the punishment of the hellfire forever.
Exactly, guys. And if we say that we love Allah, the true Muslim, the true believer, we don't want to spend not even a second in hell. The hellfire is something that none of us wants. So why even jeopardize your soul? Why even put your soul to the test for a piece of candy that your mother can go to the store and buy for you? SubhanAllah, it's not worth sacrificing your soul for. Good job, dear Mani. Sister Amira, why else is it important to avoid celebrations that involve worshiping other than Allah or imitating the non-believers?
Because you're going to end up just like them and you're going to end up becoming a disbeliever.
Exactly. Like the prophet said, you imitate a people, you become like them. And that's what's happening today. So many of us Muslims, we want to know why Allah has sent the war here. This is what happens when we imitate the non-Muslims. You know, we want to be like the Kafir girls. We don't want to dress right. We want to go out and get a job and be career women. We want to be airline stewardess and models and all that stuff. You know, this is why. You know, and now we've taken on their problems. A lot of the kids, Muslim kids, are doing drugs. A lot of Muslim kids are getting pregnant out of wedlock. I mean, I'm sure all of you know some Muslim girl who done had a baby or done had an abortion, somebody that smoked weed. You know, when we imitate a people, we take on their problems and become like them. Good job, Amira. Sister Sabrina, why else is it important to avoid celebrations like this and imitating Kafirs? Go ahead, Sabrina.
Well, celebration is kind of just another word of worship. So when you say celebrating Halloween or Christmas, you're basically associating partners with Allah.
Exactly. It's association. See how the children can see this. The children understand, guys. This is for the parents. You have to enforce the laws of Allah. The children understand. They know that celebrate is just a synonym of worship. Subhanallah. Good job, Sabrina. Sanaya and Ali. Let's hear from you.
Because you can't celebrate anything because then you'll be in the hellfire.
Exactly. You're going to go to hell. Bottom line. I don't want to be in the hellfire. I don't want to go to hell because I put on a ghost, because I imitated the Kafirs and dressed up like a jinn. What if I eat a piece of candy and it gets stuck in my throat and I die? Remember, we talked about how the last deed that you do can determine if you end up in hell. You could be chewing on that Snickers candy bar and start laughing, and all of a sudden it gets caught in your throat and you can't breathe and you die. You done died imitating a jinn, looking like a jinn, disobeying Allah. That means you going straight to hell. Oh my God, that's scary, isn't it? Yes, Sister Hafsa, why is it important to avoid celebrations that involve worshiping other than Allah or imitating the non-Muslims? Go ahead.
So mothers, they does not teach you to respect your mom, and it's not our morals.
Exactly. The non-Muslim holidays don't entail Islamic morals and teachings. Their holidays don't teach us to respect our mothers. Their holidays don't teach us to love Allah. Their holidays have nothing to do with the remembrance of Allah. They just simply entail having fun.
Sister Layla, I had another question too. I think I know because the war comes to cleansing the war.
They did what? I'm sorry?
I think I know because the war comes to cleansing the war.
She says the war comes to cleanse the world.
Exactly. Allah says he sends the war to cleanse the earth of bad people. And that's a good point. You know, why do y'all think Allah sends war? Look how many Muslims are trying to be like the Kafir. Look how many Muslims are worshiping other than Allah. Look how many Muslims are dressing up like witches and trick-or-treating. That's why Allah sends war. He said, I send war to cleanse the earth of bad people, people who disobey me, people who don't believe in me. See how the children can accept the reality. The children, guys, if y'all sit down and talk to them like this with the truths of what Allah says, is the children can accept Allah's decree. The children can accept what's going on, and they understand why, and they can work on themselves. You don't hide the reality from your children. Tell them the truth. You know, instead of teaching them hatred, telling them to hate America, telling them to boycott. You know, tell them why Allah sends war, because we don't obey him. The law says whenever we deviate away from his commands, whenever we imitate a people other than ourselves, whenever we worship something other than Allah, he will send repercussions. We got to come back to Islam, the traditional Islam, not the progressive Islam, not the Rainbow Coalition. Good job. Okay, Amalia, why else is it important to avoid celebrations that entail worshiping other than Allah and imitating the Kafir? Go ahead, Amalia.
Because you're worshiping people, not Allah.
See that? Exactly. You're worshiping that person.
It's like you're worshiping another God, but it's a person.
Exactly. Birthdays. You worship. Why would you bake me a cake and give me some money because I was born? Nobody. I'm just a human being. I didn't have nothing to do with my creation. I didn't have anything to do with my birth. Okay? So why do I deserve a cake on that day? You're worshiping me. Okay, one more answer. Go ahead. Was it Sanaya and Ali? Go ahead. Or their hand is just up. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's go to the next question. I'm sorry, their hand is just up. Here's the next question. And again, let's talk about the birthdays. How does celebrating birthdays in Islam shift the focus from Allah to the person? Y'all understand the question? What makes celebrating a birthday an act of worship of that person, in other words? Go ahead, Corday.
Celebrating a birthday, you're worshiping the person because you're like giving them gifts and buying them stuff, like their needs but not their wants, and you're spoiling them so they think they can do whatever they want.
Oh my God, he is so correct. MashaAllah, exactly. You know, this is a bad thing. Birthdays is bad, guys. You making that person think that there's something that they ain't, that something's great about them, when greatness belongs to Allah. Sister Asma, Najma, let's hear from you. How does celebrating birthdays in Islam shift the focus from worshiping Allah to the person? Go ahead.
You're committing the whole day to them, just like making them feel special, like there's some God or something.
Exactly. You're going to make this whole day about this person. Why should I spend the whole day thinking about you, giving you what you want? You don't deserve that. The only person I'm supposed to devote my whole lifetime to is Allah, not you. Good job. Sister Sabrina, let's hear from you. How does celebrating birthdays in Islam shift the focus from Allah to the person?
Okay. Well, before, like some people, like rich, like really, really rich people, like they will invite so many people. They will like pay a lot of money, and then just imagine you die the day after. And sometimes they don't even like do it on the exact birthday. Like some people, they'll do it like the day before their birthday or after or they'll like do two birthdays, and it doesn't even make sense for the after one.
Exactly, guys. It's a waste of money. Why would life is hard. We got bills to pay. Rent going up every day. You got to pay a car note. You got to pay your rent. You need your books. That money you spent on that birthday could have went to pay for an Islamic school. A lot of us can't afford Islamic school, but we can afford to spend hundreds of dollars on birthdays for one day. It's a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of everything. Good job, Sabrina. Sister Hafsa, go ahead.
They're raising the person too high.
Exactly. They're raising the person up high. They're putting that person on a level that they don't belong on. Why do I belong on a level equal to Allah? This is shirk. You're putting me on the same level as Allah because I was born? Are you crazy? Subhanallah. Good job, Hafsa. Dear Mani. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know what happened at school when I was in kindergarten? Over that, someone had a birthday, and actually, the person who had a birthday, the teacher said that she can stay only close to the door, nobody else.
Now, you see that? This is what they did in the school. They're going to, because it was some girl's birthday, she was allowed to stay, and she was given rights that other kids weren't given. You know, Islam is about equality. Islam teaches us that we can't favor one child over another. We have to be just. Islam is about justice with how we treat our children, how we treat our relatives, our family, our friends. We don't favor one over the other. The Prophet Muhammad didn't favor one companion over the other publicly like that. He didn't sit in the middle. He would sit with everyone. So that just goes to show it violates Islamic morals, Islamic values, celebrating these crazy birthdays. Good job. Let's hear from Tahira. Go ahead, Tahira. How does celebrating birthdays in Islam shift the focus from Allah to the person? Tahira?
Because you're making them feel like they're like a king or a queen by giving them presents.
Yeah. You know, you're making that person arrogant. Ain't nobody here, no queen, no princess, because you were born. You know, you're feeding that person's jinn. You're giving that person's jinn something to tease or tempt that person with. You're planting a seed in the heart of that individual to think himself or herself to be superior over others when we know that arrogance is a sin of disbelief. Good job, Tahira. That was real powerful. Sister Amalia, go ahead. How does celebrating birthdays in Islam shift the focus from Allah to the person?
Because you have, if you celebrate birthday, you're just gonna be focused on that God of the person, and also when the eclipse happens, Allah gets mad. Yeah.
Exactly, guys. A lot of people ask, why is it that we're having so many eclipses? We've had so many eclipses. Allah sends an eclipse. The eclipse are signs from Allah. And as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when you see an eclipse, go to the mosque and pray and give in charity, because it's a sign of Allah's anger. You know, and usually it's followed up with punishment. Maybe that's why Allah is sending so many eclipses, because he's trying to get us Muslims to wake up. He's trying to tell us Muslims to stop imitating the kafir, to stop doing what the kafirs do. Right before these Muslims called themselves celebrating the Prophet's birthday, remember we had an eclipse? There was a big eclipse. Allah was letting it be known, this is not what I told you to do. This is not what we're supposed to do. But Muslims celebrated it. And Allah then sent, what was it that came? The hurricane or something came after that? I forgot what happened, but some calamity happened. I can't remember. There's so many of them. Signs of the last hour. The person will wake up and say, oh, what happened yesterday? Well, what happened today? Oh, I forgot. So much is happening. Exactly. So good job. Brother Diarmani, how does celebrating birthdays in Islam shift the focus from Allah to the person? Diarmani, go ahead.
Celebrating birthdays are haram, and you can't do it because Allah will send you to the hellfire probably forever, and you'll probably never get out, and you'll probably die in the hellfire. And Allah just does not like people celebrating birthdays because all Christians just do that. They just celebrate birthdays.
Exactly. So does it bother you, dear Monty, when you hear kids say that they got a birthday party and then on your birthday, does it bother you that your mother doesn't give you a birthday party?
No, because I don't like birthday parties.
Good. Did you see?
With them.
You guys see, the children don't have a problem accepting the laws of Allah. It's the parents. You parents got to stop making your children celebrate birthdays. They're not into that crap. They're not into Halloween. They're not into Christmas. Stop playing your children cheap like that. Sister Asma Najma, let's hear from you. Go ahead.
When you celebrate birthdays and stuff, it kind of makes you feel like that you're the most special person in the world, and you start being like selfish and stuff, and like mean and greedy.
Exactly. It just feeds that bad part of the human nature. It makes us more greedy. It makes us more selfish, more arrogant. Go ahead, Rahima.
It makes them believe that all the other stuff that's not real.
God, that's a great answer. It makes you believe in stuff that's not real, guys. We have to be in touch with reality. You know, the reality is that there's nothing special about me being born. That's the reality. So what? I had nothing to do with this. So what? You know, so what? What's the reality? The reality is there's nothing great about me being born. The fact that I was born into this world means I'm going to be held accountable. The fact that I was born into this world means that now, when I die, if I did not live a righteous life, I'm going to end up in the hellfire. That's the reality. If I hadn't have been born, my soul would still be up there where Allah keeps all the souls. That's the reality. And the soul was in a state of fitra. The reality is, since I was born, I'm no longer in the state of fitra. That's the reality. Now I'm held accountable. So what is there to celebrate about me being born? I am now held accountable for every action I take and for every a decision I make. The reality is, had I not been born, I would have remained in that fitra. Y'all understand that? So, mashallah, that's really good. We did a good job on that. And so now what I want to do is move on to the hadith for tonight. And this is the book, the 55 hadiths on Islamic behavior and discipline. We're almost at the end of this book. This is hadith number 52. And when we finish this book, I'll let you guys know what other books we're going to be using. And so this hadith is a hadith addressing, what did I do?
Delina,
Go ahead.
is that the kids' books?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the book 55 Hadiths from Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli. We're almost done with it, though. We're almost at the end of it. Let me move this back.
Mr. Layla?
Uh-huh.
I don't have the raise hand thing. It's not on my screen.
Oh,
I
didn't. Okay, I can't see on there, but okay, I'll call on you. Okay, did you have an answer?
Yes.
Let me hear.
It was for a Halloween thing that I should talk about.
Yeah, let me hear it.
When you were, if you're like celebrating a birthday, and you're saying
happy birthday. And it's basically taking your focus off Allah because you're paying attention to the somebody's birthday than Allah, and you can't focus on him.
Wow, that's a beautiful answer, Brother Sully, and that's correct. You know, remember the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to remember Allah as often as we can. If we're going to spend a whole day remembering you, then I don't have any time for Allah. That means I'm putting you before Allah. When Allah says remember him, he didn't say remember you. So subhanAllah, that's committing shirk. That's associating partners with Allah. Now do y'all see why celebrations, many of them are actions of worship, such as birthdays, such as Christmas. These are actions of worship. And all actions of worship belong only to Allah. Good job, Sully. So now let's take a look at our hadith for tonight. This is a wonderful hadith that's narrated by Anas ibn Malik. Anas grew up in the home of his aunt, who was one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Maymunah. And Anas was one of the kids that used to hang out with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he helped raise. Well, he tells us that he remembers when he was a kid that 3 men came to one of the houses of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wanting to know how the Prophet worshipped Allah. And when his wives told them how, they then said, wow, where are we from it compared to the Prophet? The Prophet, here's a man that Allah has already forgiven of his sins. We're nothing compared to him. So one of the men said, I'm going to pray all night long and never stop praying every night, all night long. And then the other man said, well, I'm going to fast every day. I'm not going to break my fast. I'm going to fast every day for the rest of my life. And then the third man said, well, I'm not going to ever get married. I'm not going to ever have get married and have kids. So maybe if we do this, if we stick to these oaths, we can be, on the level of the Prophet. And so they left. And when the Prophet came to visit his wives, because remember, we talked about how every day, after Isha, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would go to check on all his wives one by one. He'd go to their house to see if they needed anything. And then one of the wives that this night when he came, the wives told him about those 3 men. And the Prophet said, well, who were they? And when they told him who they were, he went to see them. And he said to the men, are you the same people who came to visit and asked about how I worship? They said, yes. The Prophet said, I am more submissive to Allah and more afraid of him than you are. But I fast and I break my fast. And I do not stay up all night long praying. He said, whoever does not follow my example in regards to this religion is not from me. In other words, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was telling them, don't be a fanatic. The religion is easy. As Muslims, you don't have to fast every day of your life. You don't have to stay up all night long praying. Other people have rights over us. We have family, we have children, we have mothers and fathers and family. We got school, to deal with. We have work. Allah didn't make this religion a hardship. We're not supposed to be fanatical or extreme in how we practice this religion. Just do what Allah commands us to do and do it to the best of our ability. But don't try to think that I'm going to prove that I'm better than you by doing something more than you. You know, Allah likes moderacy. He does not like extremism. If you're going to fast, you know, you want to do extra fast 1 day out the month, or 2 days out the month, or 3 days out the month. But you don't have to fast every single day. That's a hardship. Then when Ramadan comes, you're not going to want to fast. You know, if you want to do extra prayers, pray the Sunnah prayers. If you want to pray at night, wake up in the middle of the night and make tahajjud. Okay, but don't spend the whole night praying. Otherwise, you're going to be too tired to wake up for Fajr. Okay, so this is a wonderful hadith that teaches us, you know, we live our lives obeying Allah to the best of our ability, but don't make this religion a hardship on us. All right, what do you guys think about this hadith? Did you guys like it? Y'all like that hadith?
I like the hadith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Sister Asma and Najma? Go ahead. Asma and Najma, go ahead.
Just a little. That was hadith 53, not hadith 52.
Which one is it?
That was hadith 53, not 52.
Oh, 53. Okay, so I got to get busy. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I got to get busy with the next book. And by the way, I am going to put out a thing for the next book, because what I'm going to do for this class, Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, he has such wonderful books that he's teaching for the kids in his school. I'm going to have you guys buy a couple of his books, inshallah. I got to think about it. Okay, so I'll let you guys know in an email what the next book is going to be after this. All right. So, alhamdulillah, this was a good class for today. We have a wonderful thing that we learned today, that as Muslims, we do not allow the society that we live in to cause us to compromise our Islamic values. Even though the other kids around us are celebrating Halloween and Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of that, we don't participate in it. Why? Because remember, we're different. We're Muslim. We believe in Allah. Allah is first and foremost. The non-believers, they love to party. They love to celebrate anything other than Allah. Okay? But we're not like them. We're supposed to be unique. We can live here in America and get along with people, but, you know, learn how to distance ourselves, to say no, not put up boundaries. Say no. Say no to drugs. Say no to alcohol. Say no to parties. Say no to boyfriends. Say no to dressing up like jinns for Halloween. Say no to begging for candy. Say no to happy birthday. Say no and distance ourselves from anything that stands between us and our relationship with Allah. And we also learned today our hadith for the week, that everything within moderacy. Just because we're Muslim and just because we believe in Allah and fear his punishment doesn't mean that we have to become fanatics. Okay? We make a mistake, you know, we repent to Allah and ask Allah to forgive us. But we don't have to do no extra fasting and extra prayers and all of that to burn us out from our obligations. All right. I want to thank all the kids for joining. Inshallah, I want to remind everybody to be here for the 6 o'clock class, the 6:30 class, because we will continue speaking about Allah and what it means to believe in his lordship. And also we have Brother Mukhtar's class. He's doing the life of Khalid bin Walid. That will be at 7:30, inshallah. So, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum until 6:30.
Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam.